Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. First of all, for everybody on the call, I would just like your permission, since today is a really big day, I'd like everybody's permission to ask you questions for the first 10 or 15 minutes of the call. So if you're okay with that, just raise your hand quickly. Um, okay, so why is today such a big day? Today is June 30th. Why is it a big day? Just put it in the chat. Anybody?
They're typing, just a second. Mid-year?
Mid-year. Today is exactly the mid-year. June 30th is the mid-year. So what does the mid-year mean? Put it in the chat. What does the mid-year mean? Anybody? Half the year is gone. That means we have half the year left. And because of the way the year falls, we should be at 65% of our goal closed and pended. So please, I would like everybody to respond. Everybody on the call, please respond. So if your goal is 100, you should be at 65 closed and pended. So whatever, just figure out, take your goal for 26, multiply it by 65%. That's where you should be on closed and pended. So what I'd like to do is have everybody write down yes or no being on goal. Please, everybody. It's the best way for us to find out where we should be going with the rest of this conversation.
Lots of no's, Tony. No, 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 no.
Percentage wise, would you say?
No percentages, just lots of answers with no, no, no.
Okay, any yeses?
I saw two.
Two yeses. Okay, so that means right now, most of us are off goal. How many days do we have? Anybody know how many days we have left in the year to write contracts? How many days do we have left to write contracts? This is kind of a trick question. Why is it a trick question?
Because when you write it, it's not when it closes.
That's exactly right. So in reality, through July, August, September, and October, we have 123 days left. So what is the next factor? We get to November. What happens in November?
Everybody's on vacation.
Everybody's on vacation. What else? In fact, what happens to most realtors?
They go on vacation.
They go on vacation. The biggest holiday for realtors is Halloween. Why is Halloween such a big day for realtors? They get to quit for the rest of the year. Why do they get to quit for the rest of the year? Because they believe that what?
Everything.
Nobody's going to buy.
Nobody's going to buy and nobody's going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that leave for us?
Unfair share.
Unfair share. 20 to 25 to 30% of realtors will take off November and December because nobody buys and sells houses in November and December. So that you have to look at how many days can you write in November? Can you write 15 days into November and close? Or is it 10 days in November? Or is it 20 days in November? But you figure it out. You're at 123. You got, let's say you do 15 days in November. So you've got 138 days. Your odds of writing in December and closing in December are pretty slim. So that could be maybe a day or two, but probably none. So we have 136 days left. How many days in a year? Anybody?
365.
365 minus 138. We have used 227 days not to be on goal. So if we only have 138 left, what do we have to do in the second half of the year?
Double up.
We have to double up. We have to do a whole lot more than we did in 227 days not to be on goal. So here's what I'd like you to do. Think about your business. Think about the 65% closed and pended. What's your gap? And I want everybody to write down one thing you could really work on that would move you toward reaching your 26 goal. And I want it to be one thing, one word, 2 words at most. I'll give you some examples. One word would be consistency. Another word could be compounding. Another word could be better lead follow-up. It could be better number ratios. That's 3 words, I guess. Better conversation. Go ahead.
We've got some good words coming up.
Okay.
Accountability, execution, pray. I love that one. Lead follow-up, compounding, implementation, consistency, lead generation, newsletter, leverage.
Great. Okay. So what are we going to do with that one word right now? We've got one word, 138 days left. What should we do with that word?
Define what that actually looks like.
Define what that actually looks like. And in our language, that would be developing a what?
System.
A what?
A GPS.
A GPS, a 135. So if my word is accountability, I'm going to write a GPS so that I have what kind of accountability?
Written.
Written, that I will do what every day? I will follow it every day. I will follow my written plan every day. I will, my GPS could say, I will make no excuses for not running my GPS every day. Every day. And probably since we're behind, our accountability would be to what? If we're behind on our goal, that means we need what in our GPS?
To double down.
Double down. In other words, we need a whole lot more action in the second half of the year than we did in the first. Because we had 227 days, or 220, yeah, I think it worked to be 227, yeah, 227 days minus 138. So we got to make up 89 days of accountability. Therefore, if we've been lead generating an hour a day sporadically, we may have to lead generate 2 hours a day consistently. Consistently may mean every day. It may mean Monday through Friday. It also could mean what? Monday through Saturday. Okay. As a coach, what would be my expectations? If I was coaching you, what would my expectations be of you?
Keep you up to speed.
What?
Track your numbers.
Track your numbers. What did you say, Dan?
I'd say to keep you updated along the way.
I would keep you updated along the way. In fact, here's what I would do. I would probably check with you every day. Did you do it? Here's some accountability I've done. You have to call, if you're going to lead generate 3 hours, you had to call me when?
After
After what?
you've done your lead generation, and how did you do?
Think a little bit more. They had to call me every hour and tell me what they did every hour. So maybe you just go find an accountability partner that wants to be as good as you, and you check with each other every hour.
Hey, Tony.
Do you have a place? Dan, you know my accountability.
I think what it is to get extreme numbers, you have to do extreme actions.
Yep, that's what it boils down to. You can't get extreme numbers without extreme action. So here's another little accountability you could do. If you have a goal to do 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's how many hours?
15.
15. If you don't hit 15 by 5 o'clock on Friday, what do you do on Saturday?
Make up.
Make up the 5 hours. And if you don't get it done on Saturday, when do you get it done?
Sunday.
Sunday. In other words, the accountability is what?
Schedule.
To get the number, not a number you're not going to get the number. Now, you have to ask yourself, are you ready to play that game? But that's how the game works. If you really run a 4-1-1 and your goal is to lead generate 2 hours a day, on Monday, you do an hour and a half. Based on the 4-1-1 model, what do you do on Tuesday?
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours to do what?
Be accountable to the
Be accountable to the number. What we do in most cases, and I can tell you, I was one of those realtors, you know, after I listened to Dianna and watched her, I just started adding up how many hundreds of thousands of dollars I left on the table because I didn't hold myself accountable enough. I didn't hold myself accountable enough to ratios. My ratios were probably 40, 45 people to an appointment. Hers were 20. In other words, I was getting half the results that she was. because I wasn't good enough skill-wise. And boy, I'm telling you, yesterday on the call, Ronnie was on the call. A few other people were on the call yesterday as part of her sales mastery. And I thought to myself, the stuff she covered, there's probably your business should be 3 times where it at if you were good enough just to do one part, and that's be a storyteller. People's business should be tripled from where it is today. Brittany, you were on the call. Would you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir, 100%.
Yep. If we could become great storytellers, we'd all be on goal. Yes or no, Brittany?
Absolutely. I was taking it to a different level. If I could be a great storyteller, my relationships in life would be extremely enhanced.
Yep. So we have opportunities to be getting better in one area. So just write down a 1, 3, 5 for what your word is. For what your word is. If it's consistency, then prove it. Write down what consistency is going to be. You have 138 days. If I take off 1 day a week, 138 divided by 7. So I got 19, about 20 weeks. If I take off a day, I'm down to 118 days. I'm not asking you to work 7, and it may take a whole lot more effort on the 6 you work. And if you have an accountability partner, my coaching clients, if they did Saturday, they had to call me when they started at 9 o'clock. And I had one lady, she was so far behind, she called me at 11 o'clock on Sunday night saying, I just finished. And I asked her, are you calling your clients at 10 o'clock at night? And she said, yes, because you told me to hit my goal. But the thing of it was, in that day, even at that late, she was still setting appointments. So just think about all this stuff. We can reach any goal we want if we do what Dan says. If we use extreme action, we can hit our goal. I've taken 4 more minutes. So what questions do you have on what we just talked about? And I've got one gentleman, I still talk to him. He has not missed a day of lead generation since January 2nd, 2000. Not missed a day of lead generation in basically 25 years.
Tony, Terry has a question.
Go ahead, Terry.
Good morning. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate you pouring into us. My question is, at what point, yes, I'm gonna double down. My word was accountability. At what point should I reevaluate if I'm not hitting that goal with doubling down? At what point should I reevaluate and relook at my goals for the rest of the year?
Okay, has anybody heard of the 1-minute protocol? Does anybody know what the 1-minute protocol is? If you do, say it. So Terry, the minute you get behind goal, what do you have to do?
Get busy.
Get busier.
Right.
If double isn't working, then what do we do?
Yes. Then we quadruple.
We quadruple. We do whatever it takes. But basically, here's what you're going to do. The 1-minute protocol, we used to do the 15th protocol if you were behind goal at 15th of the month. But right now, we don't have time to waste a week. We can't waste a minute. So the minute you are behind goal, you have pre-written activities of what you're going to do. Like, I'm going to do an extra open house this week. I'm going to do a level 5 open house, which means I'm going to knock on doors and invite neighbors. I'm going to have 3 open houses in one day. You know what? You don't need to have a 3-hour open house. If people want to come, invite them to a 1-hour open house and do 2 open houses on a Saturday. Because what's going to start in 60 days that will affect Sunday open houses?
Football.
Football. And I'm telling you, football is a priority over your open house.
And here in the South, college football on Saturdays.
Right.
You got to watch the games.
So now you may have to start doing weekday open houses.
Right.
And then we only have until the first week in November, because what happens in the first week in November?
People
Temperature.
are getting, yeah.
Daylight saving times ends,
Yeah.
and you can't hold an open house from 5 because it's dark.
That's true.
So you may
Mhm.
have to hold open houses at 3.
Mm.
And then what you do is you start putting out signs on Monday saying this house is going to be open on Thursday.
Mhm.
So we just have to constantly be looking at when we change. So or look at this. I don't have to do more lead generation. What do I have to do better? I have to, so Brittany, what do I have to do better when I'm on the phone?
Make the appointment.
Make appointments, and I can do that by being a better storyteller so that my ratio improves. Instead of being at 50 contacts to an appointment, I've got a friend that he's at 5 contacts to an appointment. I've coached him since I've coached him off and on for 25 years. He's at 5 contacts to an appointment. If you were that good and you went from 25 contacts to an appointment to 5, you just got 5 times better. You're 5 times more efficient. So Derry, the minute you're behind goal, adjust. And if that doesn't work, another minute you adjust. You adjust. Kind of look at all the things that were in the chat, and I can give you. So here's what I'm going to do for everybody. What date am I going to do this, Nicole? July what? On Thursday the 23rd at what time? So at 1 p.m. on Thursday the 23rd, I hate to do this, but because I'm going to lose, in my mind, I'm losing you 23 days, but you can start working on that now. I'm going to do a call, and we're going to clarify all the things that we could be adding. We're going to talk more about the skills. We're going to talk more about consistency. We're going to talk more about better lead follow-up. We're going to talk about how many people, when you do lead follow-up, how long is that? And how many contacts is that at? You might have to do your nurturing at 5 contacts a week, a contact a day, depending that where nobody put down pipeline, but pipeline, if we all had a better pipeline, would we have more closings? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, just say yes. Everybody say yes. So if I had more 10s and more 9s, what kind of business do I have?
Thriving.
Immediate business. Because a 10 is what? They're closing this month. Am I following up enough to get them to close this month? So that call is going to be a free call, and we're going to pick up on clarifying these ideas. If you
What
want,
time is that, Tony?
pardon?
What time is that on the 23rd?
1 o'clock Central. So it'll be noon on Eastern, 1 Central, 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific.
Thank you.
And it's going to be like a mastermind. So if you got ideas, bring your ideas. Let's be fair to everybody on that call to have as many great ideas as we can so that when we build the minute we're behind, we don't have to think about what we're going to do because it's already written down. And the next call we make will be better because we're going to implement this, or we're going to practice this, or we're going to close 5 times. We're going to close 7 times. Therefore, if I'm going to close 7 times, what do I have to be better at? I have to be better at my objection handling, or I have to be better at my conversations. I have to be better at asking questions. I have to be better at storytelling. So if I do all these things in advance, then on day 1, I'm already better that I go to that next step. So I'm going to look at what I got down as my 5 or 6 things to do better. And during the day, I'm going to get better at those 5 things so that the minute I'm off track, I do that. And I'm also better at it because I've been working on that piece, like doing Dianna's sales mastery, because I think she should do it again. It was by far for me the best thing she's ever done on selling, by far, especially the extra part.
And it's not too late to join us. We'll put the link in the chat. And Tony, Ronnie has a question.
Okay, Ronnie, go ahead, or a comment.
Thank you, Tony. So, the MREA book, the bottom of page 132 says exactly what you're trying to get us to do. And it says, make no mistake, mastering your presentation scripts and dialogues is what will drive your conversion ratios. Mastering those stories. And there's 86 people on this call right now. Why isn't all 85 on the VIP script sales this week? I don't understand that, because that's what will get the conversions up. We all complain that we don't know how to do price and we can't do that and we're not sure. But yet nobody wants to show up and put in the work to do it. So
Right.
Come join us, because you're missing a great opportunity.
Right. Yeah, like yesterday we asked everybody, what's the most important thing you should learn to be good at? And today, to me, the best thing we should be good at today is pricing. Because how many expireds are you guys seeing a month? How many expireds are you seeing a week? That means all those people that have expireds are incompetent at pricing and price reductions. I don't mean to be, well, I'm just being candid, to be honest with you, because every listing that doesn't sell is overpriced. That means we listed them overpriced and we can't get them down to the right price. That's a skill. That's not the market. That's the realtors. So if you don't like me, you can put it in the chat what I say, but I just want you to know that I really care about you guys hitting your numbers. That's why I'm so adamant about what we talk about. Because I've coached enough people that are doing hundreds, if not thousands of units today, because they're really good, skilled. So anyway, any last comments? Or so here's your homework. Do a 135 today for what you said, and implement it either later today or tomorrow. And Terry, the minute you're behind goal, start doing something different. You have no option.
Thank you, Tony.
Because if you don't change it that minute, what's going to happen?
It's going to continue to get worse.
Yep, it's going to continue. Yeah, you're guaranteeing yourself what? Not to hit your goal.
Failure.
You're guaranteeing yourself not to hit your goal.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
Go
thank
ahead.
you. Yeah, it's not my question. It just says we are discuss the heavy lifting word like compounding, lead gen, consistency, newsletter, and leverage. So many things. But at the end of the day, if you are not committed to yourself, you cannot do anything. So
Right.
be committed first and do one thing first. Only one
Yep.
thing what you want to
Yeah,
do.
that's exactly right. Claudia, you have a question, and I'll make that the last question.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I have followed Diana's advice on getting a price reduction or having the hard conversation with the house that was poorly finished out. And I was able to do it. I woman up, I manned up, and we put it up on the market for lease, but it was something, you know. He was not ready to do either one, so we put it on the market for lease. But I had the conversation. It was hard to have.
Yep. Congratulations.
Thank
We
you.
all have to have hard conversations. That's it. So it's 2 minutes over. If you want to stay on, I'll answer Andrea's question.
Yes, Tony, I'm sorry. I was not able to plug in for yesterday's session. I wanted to know, are we still able to register for
Yes.
this?
Yes. Yeah. And if you register for the VIP, you'll get a copy of the VIP call. And the VIP call to me was a very heart-bearing call because I learned a lot that I'm assuming that people know a whole lot more than they do. And I thought it was a call that taught us how to build a really successful business. And it's only on one simple idea, is the ability to tell a story that clicks their brain into a yes mode. So if you got a whole lot more yeses, you'd have a whole lot more closings. So that's what I learned. So if you do the VIP, you get to listen to it. And to me, I thought to myself again, because I was not a great storyteller, how much money did I leave on the table? And I'm telling you, it's in the hundreds of thousands for me. I did a lot of business.
Tony, we have a few comments and questions. Joanna, if you want to.
I'll go as long as anybody wants. I have nothing.
Okay, we've got a couple. All right, Joanna.
Hi, Tony. I just wanted to ask you, how far back do you think I should go as far as for cold calling? Because I'm getting some 2024s and I get a little discouraged when I specifically put in my area and then I get a lot of 2024s, and should I even bother, or what do you think?
Yep. Because what did Diana say yesterday? People don't do anything because they're afraid to make a mistake. So I talked to the guy that the team that does 4,000 closings. They call back on expireds 2 years. They go back 2 years on expireds, and guess what they're finding?
Still haven't sold.
They haven't done anything. Chase, you're absolutely right. Buyers are the same. You think they're going to go buy. Only a few are going to go buy. Most of them are still sitting in. Basically, the discussion we had yesterday is they are still sitting there, and based on what's happening in Brittany's market, their houses went up 110% while they were waiting. So how much
Come here,
equity
G.
did they lose
Come
in the
on.
last 5 years by waiting?
Mm.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Those houses doubled in 5 years and they stayed as a renter. What percent interest rate is their rent?
100.
100%. Every dollar builds no equity.
Really?
In the meantime, the houses in her town went up 110%. The 5 years they were a renter, they built no equity. In those 5 years, you could have built, what was your average sales price back then, Brittany?
What do you say when people hear that and they feel like there's just no hope and there's no chance to, like they missed their window?
Right. Yeah. Now, if you tell a story about a client that waited 5 years and the average sales price in her town was 300,000, they lost 330,000 while they were paying 100% interest. How's that story for getting somebody to do something?
You got to take action today, Chase, to answer your question, right? You never miss the boat, right? You can look at your parents. Oh, they bought a house for $50,000 back 50 years ago, and now that house is worth 500,000. So you're not going to do anything about
Right.
it, right?
Yeah.
You got to
So-
start today, and when the time is right for you, that you can take on that financial responsibility to be a homeowner, to build your wealth.
Right, right. And what does Gary always say? Now is a good time to buy a good piece of real estate. Because my first house was $42,000. Today, that house is worth $1 million, where it was. So that means I bought my first house almost over 50 years ago.
Right.
So what does that mean? That over the last 50 years, what direction did real estate go?
Up. Yeah.
Up
Up.
and down.
For up and down for 50 years, and it ended up 100 times or 10 times. There's a book called 10X.
Mhm.
Those houses went from 50 to 500 or more.
Mm.
So they 10X. You want a 10X investment? Buy a house today and live in it, own houses for the next 50 years. You're going to have your biggest asset. Example, if it goes up 1% a month, figure that out and ask your buyer. So let's say it's a $300,000 house they're buying. What's 1% of 300,000? 3,000. Here's a question for the buyer. What investment did you have last month that made you $3,000? And their answer is going to be what?
None.
None. If you bought this house, you would have made $3,000.
And you get to enjoy it.
And you get to enjoy it, and you get all the tax advantages.
Mhm.
So think of that.
On where you are in life, Charlie.
So just think of all the things we've covered on this 40 minutes of call. Think of all the things you could be doing with your clients if you knew all this stuff and implemented it. This is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in your real estate career, unless you plan on being in real estate for 1 year and then get out. I've had a license for 51 years.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what most of my wealth is? You know what Diana's and I wealth is?
Real
What do you
estate.
think?
Property you own.
Property we own. Our biggest net worth statement is real estate.
Tony, I get conversations often where, oh, there's too much hassle, tenants leaving, turning property. And these are investors who own like 4 to 5, not tons of property like
Right.
you do. And it's like, okay, if I put my money in the stock market, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to deal with tenants and trash and toilets. What can you say to them? And is there any data to prove that, okay, I know that to buy a $400,000 property, you put 20 or 25% down. If you want to buy stock for 400K, you have to put 400K in. But in the long term, is there a report that we can provide an investor that strongly believes in stocks versus real estate, that, hey,
Yeah.
long term, this is a better gain? Yeah, there's
So,
headache to some degree, and values go up and down, but in
right.
the long term, you
So-
come out way ahead than you would have done on the stock.
So specifically, what time do you spend? What do you spend on
Specifically,
your, what do you spend on your properties? Specifically,
probably, I would say 10 to 20 hours a month when you have to turn them over. Otherwise,
why are you turning it over?
because I want to save on the property management fee.
Oh, so you're doing this because you want to save money.
Correct.
So for 10%, you're willing to do all that work for a lousy 10% a month on your rent?
Well, I have time. My job doesn't take much time, so
So it really isn't an inconvenience. You just said it was an inconvenience, but you have the time, so it's really not an inconvenience, is it?
right.
Do you know how much time I put in all of our properties?
None.
Zero.
None. Here's the thing. One, I've never seen one of them. All the properties we own, I've never seen one. So
It's numbers driven.
how much time do I have in finding them?
You have realtors who are bringing you opportunity
Yes,
and giving you the data to make the decision.
right. And when I turn them over, who turns them over for me?
The management company.
Oh, so I have no time there.
Mhm.
And then when the toilet breaks, who takes care of
Somebody
that?
else fixes it. Yeah.
So we're making a substantial amount of money every month, and I'm putting in no time. And guess what? I have a lot of gold and silver. My
Mhm.
gold and silver is not doing real well right now. But guess what's happening in my real estate? It's still going up.
Even if it's not going up, you're getting rental income.
I'm
So,
getting, yeah, I'm living on my income.
right.
I'm
Whereas
living
the
on my
stocks are
income.
only, not giving you that monthly deposit into your bank account.
Right. And do you go to Vegas a lot?
No, I don't gamble.
Okay, you don't gamble. Why don't you gamble?
No.
Stock is a slots machine.
Mm-hmm.
It goes on the whims. See, why can Vegas afford to build billion-dollar buildings?
Most people lose.
Most people lose. And if you play the stock market over a long time, if you know how to play it well, therefore, to learn how to play the stock market well, what do you have to do?
For a long
I
time.
think you need to know when to quit.
You have to know how to play the game.
Yeah.
My son's a multimillionaire from the stock market. Do you know how much time he studies what he buys? Whole lot more than I do in my management.
Right.
A whole lot more than I do in my managers and my realtors. And one called me up last week or last month, said this house, the market is changing, and you're probably out of equity on this house. So we sold it to the tenant and bought one And now we're starting a new depreciation, a new equity run, because it's the cheapest one in the neighborhood. So now we got the theory of progression and regression on our side. And now we're going to start a new equity run. And we're going to make a whole lot more money than we did before. Plus the rent's almost $500 a month more. And
Tony,
you know how much time I had in that? I have an hour. I just signed the contract. Oh, I have 2 hours in it because the lady came over from, I bought them in Oklahoma. The lady came over to my house for me to sign the papers at the closing. So I have 2 hours in that purchase. I'm making
Tony,
an
we have
extra.
one last question from Lisa, or a
Okay.
comment.
Good morning, Tony, and thank you for the opportunity and just staying on afterwards. Gina, I think it was mentioned about the consumer that doesn't want to spend the time. My question then says, what is your standing on RITs and in that space for that type of consumer, but yet they're focused on real estate?
What's the question again? I'm sorry.
So what is your position on RITs, REITs?
Oh, I like owning single family. So as an investor, I don't want to be part of big, because right now, what's the weakest part of the real estate market?
Multifamily?
Multifamily. Because multifamily is what?
Great.
Overbuilt.
Mhm.
Because why is it overbuilt?
People don't want to rent. They want to own.
They had to start that big project 3 years ago when it was a different market. So now that the market is changed, like in our neighborhood, there's probably 1,000 units that is coming online starting 3 months ago. There's going to be 1,000 units within our driving time. 1,000 units when they can't rent what they have. So who's going to suffer in this market when 1,000 new units come on the market? Who's suffering? The builder that built them or the owner that owns older stuff? The person that owns the older stuff, because what are the new people going to do?
New construction.
They're going to give you a new building at what?
At a discount.
At a discount, a month free, you know,
More incentives to move in.
incentives to move in. And those are going to take the people in the older multifamily. I was in multifamily. I got burned, so I just decided to stay away. And if I need 300,000 cash in an emergency, what do? Sell a house. House is nothing more than a savings account. Because if I need my money out, how fast can I sell a house? Gina, if I price it right, how fast do I sell it?
You should sell it in 10 days or less.
I sell it in 10 days or less. So it's like having a money market where you have to wait a little bit to get your money. Real estate's nothing more than a money market. But the nice thing is I could sell it tomorrow. All I have to do is what? Price it right. Yeah. Price it right and it turns into cash. So that to me, why I don't like RITs or anything like that. I don't even like being a partner in apartment buildings. But
Because
see,
you also
here,
don't control,
right,
what needs to be done.
right,
You've just given somebody your money to invest
right.
for you.
So here's what I look for. So I said I have a realtor. So every realtor in every town I buy real estate, what do they own?
Real estate.
They own rentals, and they don't own 3 rentals. They own 30 or more rentals. Therefore, why do I trust them?
They know what they're doing. They're
They
doing
know
it for
what they're doing.
themselves.
And the second thing they have to give me is a what?
P&L,
What?
a profit and loss.
Even more important than that, they have to give me a great manager, because a good investment with a bad manager is a bad deal. So right now, every town I'm in is the best manager I've ever had. All of them. Because why? They trust their 30 units to them. I'm going to trust my 10 units to them. If they're trusting 30, I'm trusting 10. Make sense? So that's just me, but you know, if you watch anything with Grant Cardone, that's all he buys is big stuff. And I would say he's probably good at self-managing. So if you find somebody you can trust, but I can't trust the RIT because I don't know what the people know. I know they know how to sell shares. I don't know how they good are managing the property and keeping it rented and keeping it cash flowing. So that would be my, because every house is nothing more than a little savings account. You could call it a little CD. And some of them we've owned for 25 years. Oh, also, everyone is paid off. I shouldn't say that. I just bought one. I put a 20% loan on it. So we have millions of dollars worth of real estate all free and clear. If it's all free and clear, it has a good what? Eric, it has a good what?
Profit and loss.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Tony, I lied. There's one more question. Vance has a question.
Hey, hi Tony.
Hi.
Hi. Actually, this question is about sales actually. So let's say you have a team of realtors who are doing the stuff for you, lead generation, and you are doing the open houses, right? But what do you think about getting the leads from online channels, like doing the paid marketing and content? Do you believe that these channels also work?
What will work?
I'm asking that, like, do you, as a solo realtor or as a team, do you think that we should spend on marketing and content to get the leads specifically for selling your homes?
Yeah, you can get them for free. If you build a big enough database, like I have a couple that all they do is open houses. They market it by knocking doors, and they do 3 open houses for a house. So they'll do an open house on a Sunday, a Wednesday, and a Sunday. And they don't take offers during that 8 days.
All right.
So they only take offers. So they do an open house Sunday, they do an open house on Wednesday with food and make it an event. They do an open house on Saturday, and they knock approximately 150 doors for each open house.
All right.
Then on Monday, they start taking offers. What percentage of listings do you think sell on Monday?
I would say most 60-70%.
80.
Oh, I'm close.
So if you go on a listing presentation, and tell the seller that 80% of your listings sell in 8 days, what's your
Yeah.
odds of getting a listing?
Very hard.
And it's all
Like-
and they have a database of 25,000 people. Guess
Mhm.
guess who they invite to their open houses?
Like close to 50.
All 25,000 people.
What? Wow.
Why not?
Wow.
So the open house is not only an open house to find that. What's the goal of an open house? What's the first goal of an open house?
Yeah, to build the interest in the buyers.
Okay. The goal of
Yeah.
an open house is to get a listing.
Yeah.
And how do you get a listing from an open house? You invite all the neighbors. In fact, you invite everybody you know because you
Right.
don't know who is a lister. And when people come to an open house that live in the neighborhood or you invited, what are they doing? They're interviewing you.
Hmm.
Why are they interviewing you? Because they're thinking of selling. Getting a buyer
Right.
is the second goal. Getting a listing is the first goal. Getting a buyer is the second goal. In fact, we named their open house Listing Magic because they've sold 1,300 houses, all by open houses. Their total GCI over those 13 houses is $32 million in GCI just doing open houses. They never run an ad, but every house they knock 150 doors, or their team knocks 150 doors. If you
Right.
invite 25,000 people, what happens to your attendance? You know what their average open house is for those 3 days?
I really don't know. Oh, two.
No. What's the next one after 2? 20. What's the
Okay.
next one after 20?
200.
200. They
Yeah.
average 200 people in open house in those 3 days.
Wow.
How fast you building a database? How
Yeah.
big is your database? How
Yeah.
many neighborhoods is that database covering?
Hmm.
So the third thing in their open house becomes, if they invite their clients to come to the open house, they're inviting them to come to a what? Client party.
Okay.
Because their clients come to see the open house, they also see them and their team. So they have, and one of the open houses, they have tacos and margaritas.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I do 3 open houses and get 200 people, and I do that 3 times a week. I'm getting 600 people to my open houses.
Yeah, that is a huge number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a client, Michigan. He's in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Mhm.
What is January like in Ann Arbor, Michigan? What's the weather like in Ann Arbor, Michigan in January?
Freezing.
Cold and snowy. We had an open house second week in January. His average open house was 3 people. We got a list of 16,000 people. Invited 16,000 people to his open house. That day, the weather was 9 degrees and snowing. His average open house was 2 in the winter. How many did he have at that open house? 43 people. 43 people when his average was 2. 43 divided by 2, he had 21 times his average open house because he invited 16,000 people. How do you get more people to an open house? What's the answer? What's the answer? Somebody knows the answer. Gotta know. If you want more people at your open house, do what?
Invite them.
Invite more people.
more. We don't have big open houses because we don't invite enough people. An open house sign at 11 o'clock in the morning or noon when you start your open house is of no value. Even putting up a sign on Wednesday saying open house on Sunday. Put an open house sign up for 3 days or 4 days. Knock 150 doors or knock 200 doors. How they started their open houses, they knocked 150 doors to invite them to the open house. When it went under contract, they knocked the same 150 doors and said, that house sold. Then when it closed, they knocked same 150 doors and said it what? Closed. What happened the following week? They got a call from one of those 150 people to do what? List their house. They did the same thing on that one. Guess what happened a week later? Another one of those 150 people called to do it, to list their house. Now they're in California, so those 3 sales totaled $7 million. 7 million times 3 is $210,000 in commissions, all by just knocking 150 doors three times each sale, 9 times total. How do we think about being on goal? Anyway, I think I've got a guy that they only do they plan 2 weeks before every open house. And that whole 2 weeks is nothing more than calling the neighborhood. So if I got an open house for 300,000, I knock the doors in the neighborhood looking for sellers. What else do I knock the doors of? What price is going to buy a $300,000? What price house do I live in if I'm going to buy a $300,000 house? So it's
200.
Yeah, so it's going to be 200. So where do I go door knocking? Houses in the neighborhood that sell for 200. And what's important about knocking doors in the same neighborhood that are 200? Because people fall in love with school districts. Kelly, yes or no?
Absolutely.
They don't want
Absolutely.
to leave the school district.
Correct.
So they're going to buy a nicer house, but they're going to stay in the same school district. So they're a prime buyer because of the school district. We don't put enough value in a school district. In Boulder, I sold in Boulder, Colorado. There was an elementary school that people would kill to get their kids in. It's called Eisenhower Elementary. It was quote unquote the elementary. So people then say, I want a house in this subdivision. I want a house in the at Eisenhower Elementary. We don't put enough value when we're thinking about marketing in a school district. So anyway, those of you who are left, give me 2 ahas for the last hour. Did I just waste an hour?
Not at all.
No,
You were amazing. Feel free to unmute, y'all.
this was,
Old school
yeah,
still
this was
works.
amazing.
You can reach any
Yeah,
goal with
yeah.
extreme action, and we gotta be skilled at pricing and price reductions in this market.
Great.
How did they get the 16,000 invitations? By what means did they invite the 16,000 people?
Yep. Yep. The
Um,
other
uh,
people, the people in California invite 25,000.
people who rent pay 100% in interest.
Yeah,
That's
right. Rent is 100% interest. Tax records. Tax records will give you the name, and then there's a company called Exact Dial. Now you have to pay for this part, but if you want to start creating, see, I'll take a couple more minutes. When you have a database, most databases today are a database made up of what? Buyers, sellers, or nurtures? They're made up of
nurtures.
They're made up of nurtures. If I buy a Boomtown lead, what have I bought? First of all, I was sold a bill of goods because it's not a lead. It's a name on a piece of paper that needs to be nurtured for 6 to 18 months. So tell me what the heck a difference is if I got a list of people I nurtured them for 16 to 18 months. I get them for free from the county. I may have to pay Exact Dial because Exact Dial, if I have one piece of information, they'll give me everything else. If I have an address, they'll give me the person's name, their phone number, and their email address. I have to buy it. But once I buy it, I own it for what? Forever. So now I just added 300 people to my database. It cost me $100. But if I took those 3 people and nurtured them 60 to 100 times a year, at the end of 18 months, I probably have 5 to 10 sales out of those people. 7% of your database moves a year. If I have 10,000 people, that's 7,000 that's 700 closings. If I have 50 people, that's 5. What am I better at? Having 10,000 people. Well, they won't know me. Well, if you nurture them correctly with value adds, like if you use command, you should be doing nurtures to your neighborhood. So everybody knows all the things about their neighborhood. We don't do nurtures. We don't answer their questions. You want to touch them 60 times? Think of every question that a buyer asks, think of every question a seller asks, and then answer them on your emails. Those are called value adds. Then think all the questions they should be asking that they're not asking, answer those. Just those alone are probably 100 touches. What should I know today? Interest rates have gone up. What should I know today as a buyer and a seller? Rates are going up. But guess what? What else is still going up in most cases? Prices. So rates are going up and prices are going up. Oh, we thought exactly the opposite was going to happen. When prices go up, I mean, when interest rates go up, people think
Price will
what?
go down.
Prices are going to go down. Well, they're not. Do your buyers and sellers know that? Does your people in your database know that? Why do they need to know that? Because you don't want their business, you want their referrals. Why don't you want their business? Because they used to move every 3 to 5 years. Now they move every 7 to 11 years. There isn't enough repeat business. So you got to teach them how to give you referrals. Oh, that's a whole game. Teach them how to give you a referral. We think they should automatically give us referrals. That's the biggest hallucination in real estate. I did a good job. In whose eyes? Their eyes or your eyes? Because if it's not in their eyes, it's not a good job. So anyway, all these things, if you look at this, it's all a accumulation of ideas. And as you accumulate all these ideas and you start implementing them, then there's so many to do. You get a team to go out and knock your open house doors. Oh, I'm holding 3 open houses tonight. I can't do that. So now I have my team go hold the open houses. Now they're getting 200 leads, or they get 60 leads or 50 leads. Because you're doing all these things, you're not getting 3 leads or 0 leads. Here's the thing with a market center, we came up with an idea to start doing open houses. This first guy did an open house. Nobody showed, and he got a listing. Where did he get the listing? From the
Open
door
house.
knocking.
From where?
Door knocking. He
Oh.
invited 150 people to his open house. Nobody showed up, but one person said they were a potential buyer to him when he was door knocking. And guess what? He went back and did what?
Presentation.
List the house.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody showed up, but he got a listing and sold it. It was his first sale. So what did he learn? That you
Go
don't
up.
need to have people come to your open house. If you door knock, you'll find
Door
a buyer
knocking
or a
works.
seller. Yeah, door knocking works.
Yeah.
So you got part of the
Thank you,
call.
Tony.
You got part of the call on July 23rd. But tell me, in my opinion, there were so many ideas. There's no reason anybody left on this call should not be on goal.
Yeah. I wrote them all
Thank you,
down.
Tony. You've given us more time than it's
Thank you.
allotted.
Right.
Thank you,
So,
Tony.
Thank
my
you,
pleasure.
Tony. You're the best.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank
Have a
you.
great
Thank-
holiday.
Thank you.
Great
Bye-bye.
day.
Tony.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.